Greetings, everybody. Okay, this is basically a news current event uh, video, and this is going to be in regards to the whole ACME rocket bomb scenario that Mr. Netanyahu portrayed, and we're going to go into a little bit about Netanyahu and the whole thing with Israel and Iran and the nuclear weapons things, because I mean this is just really ridiculous, and so many Christians are so for this guy, and they don't know how much they are being duped in believing this individual, regardless if Iran has nuclear weapons or not. I've been stating the last couple of weeks that you see the same reports occur over and over again. Like 3 years ago, it was 6 months and Iran's going to have nuclear weapons. 2 years ago, 6 months, Iran's going to have. It just goes on and on and on. If with their nuclear program and stuff like that, and with the enriched uranium they have, and if they've been working to build nuclear weapons for this long period of time, since these threats started coming in from beginning with Bush, really, up until now, chances are they probably already have nuclear weapons, okay? I don't know, but I think maybe the Wile E. Coyote from the Roadrunner cartoon, I think he probably wants his Acme rocket back. I mean, he kind of stole it out from under him. I mean, I think he might want it back. Mimi. Anyway, I'm just really, this is just, it's hilarious, and people buy into this. A lot of people buy into this. He's been making these threats of attacking Iran, and he wants this war with Iran. This is all part of the satanic plan for World War III that was put in motion, 150, 170 years ago by none other than Elra Pike. He has been well known to be a Freemason, 33rd degree Freemason, and we're gonna really break it down here. He works for the same agenda that Ahmadinejad does. Ahmadinejad is basically calling for a new world order. He just recently called for that not too long ago. Over and over again in this speech that Netanyahu gave, he is calling for world peace. It's the same thing, folks. They're working on both sides of the fence. I don't care if it's Israel or whatever. The government there is just as corrupt. But anyways, Netanyahu spoke about Palestine and the libelous statements Palestinian leaders Mahmoud Abbas said about Israel. He also emphasized on Iran using a diagram, the ACME rocket here, to illustrate how close Iran is to the final stage of nuclear weapons. Same old rhetoric. I'm not going to go over the whole speech. A lot of speculations that the Zionist regime controls everything. I'm not going to say just the Zionist regime, but the Illuminati, Club of Rome, Bilderberg, all the higher-ups, Jesuits, whatever you want to call them, they're at the highest level of the echelon. Netanyahu is just a 33-degree Freemason puppet for the New World Order, just like Obama is. It's nothing. It's nothing new. But he makes during his speech, I got it highlighted right here. I'm going to use these two paragraphs right here. He said something kind of interesting. He says, Israel stands proudly with the forces of modernity, whatever that means. We protect the rights of all our citizens, men and women, Jews and Arabs, Muslims and Christians. All are equal before the law. Then he goes on to say, Israel is also making the world a better place. That's your first clue. He's making the world a better place. Especially with all the facets of media it's been told that they control. It goes on. Our scientists win Nobel Prizes. Our know-how is in every cell phone and computer that you're using. Like this one right here. And all the cell phones, it's Zionist control, just like the media, just like Hollywood. He's basically stating it right here. We prevent hunger by irrigating the arid lands in Africa and Asia. So, and it goes on, just more rhetoric, talking about world peace and, which is basically New World Order, just like Ahmadinejad calls for. And many Christians are out here supporting this guy just because he is from Israel. He is the Prime Minister of Israel. So I'm kind of glad I'm doing that study I'm doing. I'm breaking away from this to bring you some current events here. So that's all I have for that. I'm going to segue to more of the current events here. It's going to segue off of this and go into the current events. So see you soon. Bye-bye. Greetings, everybody. We're back at you. Okay, now, I'm going to bring this to you, and hopefully, after this video regarding Netanyahu, hopefully we can really understand what kind of a warmongering propaganda rhetoric that he spews. Obviously, before you, here is a video. This was back in 2002. I'll post the links to everything that I'm going to be covering here below in the Show More section. All you got to do is click on it and look it up for yourself. This has been well documented, and Christians still, mainline Christianity still goes along with this guy. In 2002, Prime Minister Netanyahu convinced the USA to attack Iraq because he believed Saddam Hussein was making nuclear weapons. We all know that was a lie. You heard Bush basically expound upon that line when he's like, well, we haven't found the nuclear weapons. Maybe they're under here. Nope, no nuclear weapons. He was mocking the whole idea, folks. And here's Netanyahu, back in 2002, stating that Saddam Hussein was making nuclear weapons. Here's the clip. Yes, he was wrong.
There is no question whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question whatsoever.
You heard it from the horse's mouth.
That once he acquires it, history shifts immediately. The dangers posed by a nuclear-armed Saddam were understood by my country 2 decades ago, well before September 11th.
Okay, so you hear the emphasis he's putting on Iraq. It's the same emphasis he's putting on Iran. Now, obviously, yes. So what makes him think he is right about Iran developing nuclear weapons? Well, here we go with the whole Iran situation. This is from the United Nations.
How much enriched uranium do you need for a bomb? And how close is Iran to getting it? Well, let me show you. Brought a diagram for you.
Bring out his ACME rocket. Coyote's mad at him.
Here's a diagram. This is a bomb. This is a fuse. In the case of Iran's nuclear plans to build a bomb, this bomb has to be filled with enough enriched uranium. And Iran has to go through 3 stages. The first stage, they have to enrich enough low-enriched uranium. The second stage, they have to enrich enough medium-enriched uranium. And the third stage and final stage.
Meanwhile, with the coalitions back in Iraq, all these people, innocent people from enriched uranium that we sent over there, that we used in our own weaponry, and Israel, are getting sick off of, we see the atrocities and the deformities of children. Okay, all you gotta do is watch the documentary Beyond Treason to figure that out. And he's doing, I mean, it's total madness.
They have to enrich enough high-enriched uranium for the first bomb. Where's Iran? Iran's completed the first stage. Took them many years, but they completed it, and they're 70% of the way there. Now they're well into the second stage. And by next spring, at most, by next summer, at current enrichment rates, they will have finished the medium enrichment and move on to the final stage. From there, it's only a few months, possibly a few weeks, before they get enough enriched uranium for the first bomb. Ladies and gentlemen, what I've told you now is not based on secret information. It's not based on military intelligence. It's based on the public reports of the International Atomic Energy Agency. Anybody could read them. They're online. So if these are the facts...
Listen to that again.
Agency. Anybody... It's not based on military intelligence.
Not based on military intelligence.
It's based on the public reports of the International Atomic Energy Agency.
Ah. Okay.
Anybody could read them. They're online. So if these are the facts, and they are,
So his fax is an Acme rocket from Looney Tunes. Like I said, I'm not denying Iran has nuclear capability. They probably do, okay? But, I mean, this rhetoric that he's spewing out is just complete, utter nonsense, okay? And I'm not standing for Iran. I'm not standing for Israel or whatever. I'm just trying to clear the airways here of how duped you Christians are being out there and supporting this guy just because he's the Prime Minister of Israel. He does not have the best interests of the Israeli people, okay? So, now, this is Iran versus Israel, what the media wants you to forget. Okay, the corporate media have been given their orders to throw the focus back into Iran. Here's a recap of what they're trying to make you forget. Remember last spring, Rose Guttemüller, an Assistant Secretary of State and Washington's chief nuclear arms negotiator, asked Israel to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Guess what? Israel refused. So right here. Right here. The United Nations passed a resolution calling on Israel to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and to submit to inspections. Guess what? Israel refused. Why would they refuse? Why would they be so concerned of letting them inspect any nuclear capabilities they might have? Could it be that they already have nuclear capabilities? The IAEA asked Israel to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and to submit to inspections. Israel refused. But guess what? Iran's formal notification to the IAEA of the planned construction of the backup fuel rod facility underscores that Iran is playing by the rules of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which Iran has signed. We say, go ahead, come on in, no big deal. Here, you can see what we're doing. But Israel, no. Iran allows IAEA inspections of all its facilities. Contrary to face-saving claims, it appears that the U.S. and Israel were both caught off guard by Iran's announcement of a planned underground to avoid being bombed enrichment facility. The reasoning is simple. Had the U.S. or Israel announced the existence of the new facility before Iran's notified the IAEA, it would have put Iran on the defensive, as it is now. The U.S. and Israel seem to be playing catch-up, casting doubt on the veracity of Israel's claims to know that Iran is a nuclear threat. The IAEA and all 16 United States intelligence agencies are unanimous in agreement that Iran is not building and does not possess nuclear weapons. They probably already have them, so I'm not going to really say for sure they're not. 1986, Mordecai Vanunu blew the whistle and provided photographs showing Israel's clandestine nuclear weapons factory underneath the reactor at Dimona. Here it is. Mordecai Vanunu brought his camera to work in late 1985, shortly before leaving his 8-year stint as a technician at Israel's nuclear weapons factory at Dimona. Acting on his conscience, he carefully took about 60 photos of the top-secret labs and unique production processes involved. And here's some of the pictures. Okay. This is the pictures he took in Israel at their nuclear reactor in Dimona. There's the control panel. Another one. Another shot of it. Control panel for lithium-6 production. That's nuclear capabilities. It's already been known that Israel has over about 300 to 400 nuclear warheads. Here's the workshop. Looking inside a glove box at lathe for turning precision-shaped pieces of plutonium or other components. Right in there. You can see it right there. It's outside of glove box. Oh no, they're not doing anything. Plutonium separation plant control room. Shielded viewing portal for observing nuclear reactions. Production model of nuclear weapons core. Right there. And yet there's basically this is pure hypocrisy. They're not going to let they're not going to let officials investigate their plans, but yet they're going to go ahead and just assume that Iran's building nuclear weapons. And this is what they have. This is back in '85. Production model of nuclear weapons core. Okay, I'll provide all of this below. Israel made the same accusation against Iraq, as I just showed you, that it is making against Iran, leading up to Israel's bombing of the power station at Osirik following the invasion of 2003. International experts examined the ruins of the power station at Osirik and found no evidence of a clandestine weapons factory in the rubble. The United Nations has just released the Goldstone Report, a scattering report which accuses Israel of 37 specific war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza earlier this year. Israel has denounced the report as anti-Semitic, even though Judge Goldstone is himself Jewish. And the United States will block the report from being referred to the War Crimes Tribunal at The Hague, thereby making the U.S. government an accessory after the fact. Recently revealed documents prove not only that Israel has nuclear weapons, but actually tried to sell them apart to apartheid South Africa. Who else Israel approached to sell nuclear weapons remains an unmasked question. I think that's this one right here. No, right here. How Israel offered to sell South Africa nuclear weapons. Well, if they're offering to sell South Africa nuclear weapons, guess what? They have them. This was back in May 2010. You can read the article yourself. Okay, in 1965, Israel stole over 200 to 600 pounds of weapons-grade uranium from the United States. There's that article. Nuclear diversions in the U.S., 13 years contradiction and confusion. Investigate the period between 1957 and 1967, when the Nuclear Materials and Equipment Corporation, NUMEC, received over 22 tons of uranium-235, the key material used to fabricate nuclear weapons. NUMEC's founder and president, Zalman M. Shapiro, was head of a local Zionist Organization of America, or ZOA, chapter and a sales agent for the Defense Ministry of Israel in the U.S. In the early 60s, the Atomic Energy Commission, ACME, began documenting suspicious lapses in security at NUMEC's plant at Apollo, Pennsylvania in 1965. An ACME audit found NUMEC could no longer account for over 200 pounds of highly enriched uranium. Subsequent estimates spiraled to amount 600 pounds. That's almost like the same thing as, remember when they... when the Fed was questioned about where did all this money go, and they're saying, oh, we can't account for the millions that were lost. It's the same thing here. So basically, Israel stole 200 and 600 pounds of this stuff. What it really boils down to. So, declassified documents from the former South African regime prove not only that Israel has had nuclear weapons for decades, but has tried to sell them to other countries. No less, a source in the Jerusalem Post confirms that Israel has armed their German-supplied Dolphin submarines with nuclear-tipped cruise missiles. Right here. Israeli subs with nukes in Gulf. Sunday Times, submarines with nuclear missiles in Persian Gulf. At the ready, at any time, Israel is planning to permanently station a submarine carrying nuclear cruise missiles in the Persian Gulf, the Sunday Times reported on Sunday. Israeli submarines have visited the Gulf before, but the decision has now been taken to ensure a permanent presence of at least one of the vessels. This was back in May of 2010. And we all need to be Joe Wilson right now. We need to stand up and scream liar, and that's exactly what he is. And every politician and every talking media moron that is pushing this war in Iran. Exactly. And we need to keep doing it until they get the message that we will not be deceived anymore. Israel wants to send your kids off to die in Iran, and you are the only one that can stop them. That's a nice little picture here. Here's this little guy trying to say, hey, why don't you pay attention over here? And then here's all of these anti-proliferation brigade, UN, Europe, USA. Enough already, venue. Can't you see we're busy? There we got the nuclear weapons, and they're still looking in Iran. Thought that was kind of cute. Provide all these links below. Okay, so here's another one here. Now, U.S. officials believe Netanyahu has already decided to strike Iran. I don't really like this dude too much. I mean, I think he's really more spreading hate than anything, but he's got a lot of stuff to say that is pretty accurate. This is a quote from Albert Pike, Morals and Dogma of the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry in 1871. To you, sovereign grand inspectors, general of the 33rd degree, we say this, that you may repeat it to the brethren of the 32nd, 31st, and 30th degrees. Masonic religion should be, by all of us initiates of the high degrees, maintained in the purity of the Lucifer's doctrine. Yes, Lucifer is God. Quote, Albert Pike. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to say that Iran doesn't have a nuclear program. They clearly do, okay? They clearly do. So I just wanted to make, I mean, that's kind of false right there. But anyways, Freemason Netanyahu and the Illuminist Israeli government will start this war not because of any existential threat from Iran. But why? Because they serve the Freemasonic god Lucifer. It is all part of the satanic World War III plan. The Jewish sheeple and Christian sheeple will be led down the path of destruction. Former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has publicly stated, you can see the Israeli publication Shishi, Spring 1994. You can look this up. Okay, right here. He has made this publicly known that he was initiated into the Masonic Lodge while in the United States. The La Repubblica newspaper stated that Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin was active in Masonry and estimated there are 4,000 Israeli Freemasons divided into 76 lodges. Most Israeli judges and religious figures are Masons. Rothschild supported Hebrew University. And Israel has erected an Egyptian obelisk, symbol of Freemasonry, in its courtyard. And inside the new Israeli Supreme Court building is a law library, architecturally designed in the shape of an Egyptian pyramid. All you gotta do is type in Israeli Supreme Court, and you'll see it. Okay? From Messianic Jew Jerry Golden. In the United States, you have the York and Scottish Rites, but in France, you have the Mizraim Lodge. It's from the Mizraim Lodge of Freemasonry that you will find the Illuminati. It is, in fact, the heart and soul of the Synagogue of Satan. What is even more disturbing, you will find that every Mason in Israel, that includes most of the politicians and Supreme Court judges, all are Freemasons from the Mizraim Lodge, the one who wrote the Protocols of Zion. Huh! The enemies of the Jewish people. So those who have planned the destruction of Israel are now in control in Israel. See, you guys are all focused on Netanyahu and everything like that, and they're the ones that are instigating this war so that they can destroy Israel. So really, who is behind it? Well, Lucifer is behind it all, but, I mean, come on. So, Israel's Channel 2 U.S. officials believe Netanyahu has already decided to strike Iran. Says a decision has already been made by the Israeli government to attack Iran's nuclear facilities. All U.S. intelligence officials, the confidence the Israeli leadership has already decided to attack Iran unless a significant change happens in the coming weeks or months with the Iranian nuclear program. So they're basically already committed to attacking. Now, it's kind of interesting. They're spewing all this stuff about this cyber warfare that the bankers can't do any online banking because their web is really messing up with all these cyber attacks going into the banks. And that's kind of interesting because they could use that to blame Iran to start that war. You know, I mean, I can't say for sure. I mean, it's speculation, but now here's some quotes on Freemasonry. Quote, one of the unheralded and last known facts about Freemasonry and the Masonic Lodge is its Jewish origins and nature. The religion of Judaism, based on the Babylonian Talmud and the Jewish Kabbalah, an alchemical system of magic and deviltry, from the basis of the Scottish Rite's 33rd ritual degree ceremonies. And who's a 33rd degree Freemason? Else from Freemasonry is Jewish magic. Tex Mars. Masonry is based on Judaism. Eliminate the teachings of Judaism from the Masonic ritual, and what is left? Jewish Tribune of New York on October 28, 1927. Freemasonry is a Jewish establishment whose history, grades, official appointments, passwords, and explanations are Jewish from beginning to end. Rabbi Isaac Wise. So, I mean, I don't know, man. You gotta come up to your own conclusions here. Here's a hexagram, 6 pointed stars, 6 mini triangles surrounding surrounding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Six-sided hexagon. You know, I mean, two equilateral triangles, 60 degrees. Conquest for God or conquest for Satan? Do we really believe that God and His beloved Son, Jesus Christ, will use the satanic 666 hexagram on His beloved Israel? Come on, wake up. I mean, come on, man. Here's some more on this. This was a Benjamin Netanyahu spun mythology in his UN speech in September. I don't know if this was the current one, or last year's, but let's see. Yeah, okay. He says, quote, "In my office in Jerusalem, there's a," and he goes on with a blank, "there's an ancient seal." Really? It's a signet ring of a Jewish official from the time of the Bible. The seal was found right next to the Western Wall, and it dates back 2,700 years to the time of King Hezekiah. Now, there's a name of the Jewish official inscribed on the ring. In Hebrew, his name was Netanyahu. That's my last name. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. My first name is Benjamin. Dates back 1,000 years earlier to Binyamin, the son of Jacob, who was also known as Israel. Jacob and his 12 sons roamed these same hills of Judea and Samaria 4,000 years ago, and there's been a continuous Jewish presence in the land ever since. You can agree with that. I mean, there were still Jews living in Palestine before they occupied the land, and the Jews in Palestine got along very nicely. They used to babysit each other's kids. You can go and look that up too. It's well documented. And they had no infighting whatsoever until this Zionist state was created. Now, the fact of the matter is, his last name is not Netanyahu. It is, what is it? Milikowski. He is Ashkenazi, and his ancestors were never in Palestine. He is not of the 12 tribes of Israel, i.e. not the biological descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, here's more on that. This is his father, Ben Zion Netanyahu. Okay, he was an Israeli historian. A professor emeritus at both Cornell University and the Hebrew University. His field of expertise was the history of the Jews in Spain. Netanyahu's son is Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay, so here, right there. Ben Zion Milokowski, later Netanyahu, was born in Warsaw, Poland, to Sarah Lurie and the writer and Zionist activist Nathan Milokowski. So you see how this is connecting? In 1944, Netanyahu, okay, so basically that is Milokowski's last name, or Netanyahu's last name. Netanyahu is not his real name. It's Milokowski. So, just figured I'd throw that in there. So, again, you know, it basically states right there, the father of revisionist Zionism, and was a revisionist leader of the Zionist movement in the United States. His three sons are Benjamin Netanyahu, commander of 7th Mekal, who was killed in action leading in the Entebbe hostage rescue, and Ido Netanyahu, a radiologist and writer. Freemason Netanyahu Milokowski is an Illuminist. He is not serving his people, but Illuminist bankster interest. Zionist 666 Israel is the fourth to fifth strongest military force in the world, with 200 to 400 nuclear weapons. I've already stated that it is quite evident that they already have nuclear weapons all the way back as far as 1965 to 1967, for decades. And nothing's done about that. And yet here is all this rhetoric with Iran. Here's a satanic World War III plan. Okay? The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of Islamist world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the State of Israel, mutually destroy each other. This is what it's all boiling down to. This is what it's all boiling down to, folks. And you can clearly see that with what's going on over there. They are working for the same common agenda. New world order. One world order. It doesn't matter if it's the Prime Minister, Israel, or Ahmadinejad. This has all been placed in motion by the higher-ups that's higher up than them, because Ahmadinejad and Netanyahu are basically mere puppets who is serving Satan, basically, and for the satanic world order to come. They both talk about world peace. They both talk about a world order. Ahmadinejad said it the other day. And you Christian theologists out there that are so in support for Israel and the government of Israel, you don't have any clue. Look at the Israeli Supreme Court. I mean, I'm not kidding. I mean, I can't. I'm not making this up. They don't have the best interest for the Jewish people. I'm not cursing them or anything like that. It's just the truth. It's well documented. Again, I mean, I don't know what else I can say about, on this, but hopefully I was able to crack the egg as far as letting you know who and what Netanyahu is. I mean, it's well documented. So anyways, all of the articles and stuff will be posted below, including the 2 videos on Netanyahu. Again, I mean, you heard it right here. This was back in 2002. And he's saying the same thing with Iran and has been saying it for the past couple years. Okay? So, I mean, don't get me wrong. There is going to be a world war over there. You can't stop it. I mean, wars and rumors of war. It's going to happen. Where more likely, chances are, yes, we're going to see war and martial law on our soil. We're going to have so much chaos in this world right before Antichrist takes power. And when they say, peace, peace, sudden destruction cometh upon them. And as I stated before, if that Dewey Daniels timeline is right, that whole peace thing, it's not going to be 30 years. It's only going to be 30 days. Or 70. It's only going to be probably about 30 days. Okay, because you got the 1,260 days. And the 1,335 days. And the 1,290 days in Daniel. Okay? If this is correct, if his timeline is correct, by March we could be in for a big surprise. Because 30 days plus 1,260 days is 1,290 days. That 30-day gap is when possibly Antichrist will declare his world peace thing, possibly out of the ashes, more likely of World War III. So this is how soon this could happen. And then we'll be into the 3.5-year tribulation period. And then after the 3.5-year tribulation period, the Great Tribulation, you add 45 days after that, Jesus Christ returns. 45 days is 1,335. And it does say, blessed are those that make it to the 1,335th day. That's why we're supposed to pray that we're worthy to escape all these things. That we can be protected for the times to come. We're not going to get raptured, folks, and that's not what I'm talking about. So, hopefully, I cleared that up. But I'm going to go ahead and end this broadcast, and I'm going to put together another current event broadcast here very shortly. So, truth be told, truth be known, stay safe, God bless, and hopefully I will have my 3rd part of Understanding Jacob up here within the next day or 2, and it's going to be called Mysteries of the Seed. So, be looking for that as well. So God bless you. Take care. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.